Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. Now we ready. Now we ready. Okay, there we go. Cool, cool. All right, we about to start in a second. Okay, here we go. All right, we about to start in a second, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, okay. There we go. Put this right here. Okay. Before I start doing that, let me send this off real quick to people I know. Little mass. We're gonna start temporarily in about literally five, four, three, two, one. I'm just putting a couple things together real quick for y'all. All right. Okay, here we go. Just putting a couple things together, man. We're not going to we're gonna get into it today, man. We're gonna get into it. Okay, okay. All right. We got everything we got it going. We got everything going. This is before before I hit this button, this record button, I'm gonna just make sure I'm recording right now on other platform, but before I hit this button on y'all, I need y'all to be aware, bring people in, you know what I'm saying? Because once we start, we ain't stopping. You understand? Till we finish. All right. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I think I got everything in here where I need to be. All right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Tap in. Let me see. Hold on. All right, let's go. We ready now, y'all. Mm-hmm. Okay, we got the video. All right, we're gonna get to it. Let's get to it. Hit the recorder button. In five, four, three, two, G. All right, there we go. Okay, we back now. We live. Okay. Today is what's today? Okay, today is sorry, today is I think today's the sixth, right? Yeah, 12/6. Ladies and gentlemen, I look at my watch. 12/6 today. Today's 12/6. Got my drink right here. This is ginger ale, by the way. Ain't no liquor in here. Okay. And keep Saturday holy. Okay. All right. Let's get to it. um, so today we're gonna talk about today is the 12/6. I'm your host, King Cecil. This is Bible study with King Cecil podcast, where we talk about the Bible. We read it word for word, scriptures, and we also go over things. We study. That's what today is. We're gonna study the Bible. That's what a Bible study is. This is episode 11. If you're just not joining us, and we don't sugarcoat nothing. Of course, sometimes we go off the path a little bit when it comes down to conversations, but as far as for the most part, we keep it on the same path. We keep it on the same what we're talking about. We keep it on what's supposed to be about, which is about God and His Word and people that's in the Bible and the things that they've done and the stories and lessons that we learn from it. A lot of people, this topic right here is going to be kind of touchy. Let me tell you why it's gonna be touchy. Because a lot of you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it because truth hurts sometimes. And a lot of this stuff, what I'm going to talk about today, applies to not only myself in the past and even now. It also applies to people that I know personally. Um, and a lot of times, we don't. Nobody wants to. Nobody's judging nobody. Let me make that clear. But we gotta keep it real because chastising is not judging. You know, using discernment is not judging you. Being able to discern and judge things and understand what things are, what they are, is not. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, that's not what that is, and that don't mean that." And but it's in plain English. You know what I'm saying? You can leave definitions up. So today we're talking about 7 heavenly virtues versus 7 deadly sins. When I say deadly, because it doesn't mean it's going to physically kill you, but spiritually it can kill you. A lot of people don't understand the difference between physical and spiritual. Spiritual, you can't see that. That's on the inside. That's inside of you. That's around you, even if you can't see it. Just like God's around you, but you can't see Him. And that's important because When you can't see something, sometimes you forget it's there. You forget that he can see you and he know what you're doing behind closed doors. So, you know, if you ain't really, some people think they holy. Some people think that they without sin because they ain't do this yesterday or something. Some people even know what the sins they doing. You know, there's a lot of people that haven't even read the Bible. They haven't read the Bible. They haven't even read it at all, completely, partially, or hardly none at all. They went to church a couple of times, and that's it. They don't really know it. They can't quote no scriptures. You know what I'm saying? But why you think that the devil in this world is inside some people's lives? It's because they don't know right from wrong. Some people don't know what they're doing wrong because they don't study. Okay, they don't study. You got to study to understand God. You have to pray, ask for divine wisdom. You don't just get that. You just born with that. You got to search for God. You know, you got to come to Him. Y'all trying to meet Him halfway. Now you got to go all the way to Him, man. You got to cross that street. Keep going. He right there. But a lot of people don't even want to go that route because they feel like it's going to stop them from doing what they was already doing. Sometimes it should. Sometimes it should stop you from what you're doing. If it don't stop what you're doing, it means you ain't doing nothing wrong. But if you're doing something wrong, you know it. They ain't supposed to change. Yeah, change is good. A lot of people need change. Okay. With that being said, you know, yeah, a lot of people need change. A lot of people need it. Okay, so where's the live chat at? Okay, live chat's on the side. Okay, cool. All right, cool. There we go. All right. So let's get it. So 7 days sins. All right. So let's talk about these sins, right? Okay, so at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to put this over here so you can see that. That's important. Okay. All right. So the seven heavenly virtues. Let's talk about that for a second. Okay. Okay, we're gonna split this screen real quick. Okay. Y'all see that? Okay. Let's blow it up a little bit. So let's make it a little bigger. Hmm. Look the size of that one. All right. So this right here is from okay, it's the seven heavy virtues. Okay. And the seven heavy virtues goes like this. So the seven heavy virtues, okay, and the seven deadly sins. So we're gonna do the seven heavy virtues first. Um, Faith, okay, number one, right? Not in any particular order, but we're gonna talk about it. Faith, okay, is a belief in the right things, including the virtues. Hope is taking a positive future view that good will prevail. Okay, so the first thing is faith, right? The second one is hope. Third is charity. Four is fortitude. Fifth is justice. Six is prudence. And seven is temperaments. Okay? That is the seven virtues that God loves, right? So you have faith, right? Is the belief of in things right is belief in the right things, okay, including the virtues. Um, Hope is taking a positive future view that good will prevail. Charity is concern for or active helping of others. Okay. Fortitude is never giving up. Justice is being fair and equitable with others. Prudence is care of or moderation with money. Temperaments is moderation of needed things and abstinence from things which are not needed. All right. All right. Now, on the other hand, we got the seven deadly sins. Okay. Pride, excessive belief in one's own ability of self importance. Greed, intense or selfish desire for wealth or possessions. Lust, intense or uncontrollable desires, often of sexual nature. Envy, jealousy towards another's traits, status, abilities, or rewards. Gluttony, overindulgence in food, drink, or other pleasures. Wrath, extreme anger or hatred. Sloth, laziness or failure to act and utilize one's talents. Okay? Those are sins. And each sin is traditionally paired with a virtue that counters it. For example, humility counters pride, and charity counters greed. Why is that important, you say? Sees? Because people do a lot of these things on this list, on both sides, and don't even know it. You know, for example, giving charity. When you give charity, you're not supposed to give charity so everybody can see you giving charity. You're not supposed to be boisterous with charity. You're not supposed to be like, oh man, I just gave such and such, $100. They're not supposed to know that you even gave that $100 to somebody, or bought that homeless man food the other day. Because it's not about what you did. It's about what God allows you to do. It's about what you did for someone out of the kindness of your own heart. And a lot of people, unfortunately, unfortunately, don't understand that that's how you get rewards when you do things privately, not when you do things outwardly. It's supposed to be in secret. Same with prayer. And you can pray in public with people and everything else with the congregation and stuff like that. You can do that. Um, but the goal is to pray in private because when you're asking God for something, you know, it's a personal thing. And it's more genuine, it's more real when you're talking to him by yourself. You know, it's one thing you come with 20 people with you to ask somebody a question. That's another thing when you come to somebody by yourself asking a question. You know what I'm saying? So everything is subjective, but some things are not subjective. And charity is not one of them. When you do charity, you're supposed to do things for the kindness of your heart, not because you want recognition for it. I see a lot of people, man, talk about what they've done because they want the brownie points for it. They want people to say, "Oh, that person is doing good works out here." In certain situations, I can understand. Like if you're a church organization case, I get that. But a regular person, just a regular person out here that's doing good, doing God's work, there's no need to make it known that you're giving somebody something. Okay, that's one of them. Okay, let's look at the next one here. Of course, faith is self-explanatory when it comes to virtues. I mean, come on, like if you don't know what that is, then I don't know what to tell you. Faith is is a belief in the right things. Okay, that's what faith is. Believing in God, even though you don't might not see Him physically, but knowing He's there. To believe in something good is faith. To believe that if you do good, you will get good. To believe that everybody's not the same, and that some people, even though the world is a wicked place a lot of times, that there are good people in this world. Hopefully you one of the people. So faith is very important. Without faith, you don't have none of this stuff. Without faith, you don't have no faith in nothing. Chances are you're not going to believe nothing that is somebody's telling you. You know, without faith, it's like somebody not believing nothing. It's like if you don't believe nothing, you think everything is a skeptical thing. Then of course, you're not gonna have that mental ability of respect for others or things. You know, so it's important to have faith. It's important. Okay, it's important. Yeah, it's important. Um, let's see what else. We also have here hope. Okay, hope is futuristic. You hope that things get better. You hope that you get to heaven. You hope that when you get to heaven, you see everybody you love, and you hope you can get that job tomorrow. You hope that your food stamps gonna get cut off. You hope that your car ain't gonna break down on you. It ain't guaranteed though. See, the evil one, wickedness, it don't care about no hope. Okay? He wants you not to be, he wants you to be hopeless. He wants you to suffer. Okay? He don't want you to be hopeful. He don't want you to he don't want you to you know, he don't want you to have hope. Because if you have hope, that means you believe. And if you have hope, it means you have faith. Because without faith, you can't have hope. And without hope, chances are you don't have faith. They go hand in hand. Okay? And fortitude goes along with that too as well, is never giving up. That's the other part. Never giving up on something. Never giving up on God. You know? A lot of people give up on God. I met people that gave up on God for a lot of reasons. Some reasons you would think is valid almost, based off their life and what things that happened to them or things they went through. But that's what the devil wants you to do. He wants you to give up. He wants you to be weak. He don't want you to be strong. Because if you're strong, that means you're gonna see through the bull crap that he's done. And you'll take energy off on him, not on God. Just like Job didn't take, things out on God. He took it out on what he knew it was, which was the devil. He understood that he got to be strong. So fortitude was something that was a big thing, a big factor for him, because he was a good man. He did everything God wanted him to do, pretty much. He was one of the most righteous people that ever was walking the earth at that time. And guess what? That was, I bet you I can make him turn against you. So, and God took him on the challenge because he wanted to show the devil, like, man, listen, you can't mess with me. That's my loyal servant. He loved me. He don't fear me. He loved me. He ain't gonna never turn his back on me for you. He's never gonna do that. Oh, you could get his wife, you could take his kid, man, you can do all that. But guess what? He gonna still be here with me. And that's the part where a lot of people, the flesh is weak, and to have a strong mind and a strong spirit is something that's bigger than the flesh. A lot of people don't have that. Okay? Justice, being fair and equitable with others. That's justice. Being fair. Being unbiased. There's times where I've been, a little biased myself. But I, at the same time, I realized that wasn't the way. Right? I realized that being that way ain't gonna help nothing. You know, you gotta you got to you gotta realize, man, that judging people ain't the way. Meaning you can't look down on nobody for doing something because at the end of the day you might have did worse. Maybe your situation might have been the same as theirs. Maybe what they're doing is something you wouldn't do, but I don't mean you ain't doing something else is equal to what they're doing. Some people think that just because they're not doing certain things that they're good, like as if they're exempt from that they're exempt from being chastised because they're not selling drugs, so because they ain't selling drugs, they think that they're better than the person that's on a stripper pole, or because this person right here, what I'm saying, on the street begging for change, and they got a job, they feel like they better than that person on the street because they can get a job. They say to themselves, they don't feel sorry for that person. But you don't know what that person been through. What about the time before you had your job? How are you when you didn't have no money? Or what about the time, when you were stressing out and sad because your mom passed away or something, or your cousin or something like that, or the love of your life? What were you thinking at that point? Maybe you didn't end up like that person over there, but don't mean you don't have no flaws. Maybe that person over there is doing what they're doing to survive, but you look at that person like, oh, you can. I'm not saying that, and again, I've been through enough things to understand, to know that that ain't the way. Instead of talking about people, it's better to talk with people, you know. And even if you see things that you can chastise, sometimes it's better not to chastise things at all. Because whoever is without sin throws cast the first stone, like Jesus said to people in the mass crowd when about the stone, Mary Magdalene and other women that might be doing things, sexual things and things like that. Which one of y'all without sin go cast this stone at her or at him? So we gotta be careful with that line of justice, because justice comes to everybody, not just those that you think they just come to. It can come to you too, and most likely it will. Okay, let me see. Prudence, another virtue, is care of in moderation with money. So prudence is care of and moderation with money. You know, not blowing all your bread, not blowing all your money, not over excessively doing stuff. Being a little bit careful with things. That same money that you got. Who is that same money you got? Okay, that that same $100 you spending on at the strip club, you could be spending on your wife or your girlfriend or your kids. That same money you about to get your nails and hair done with at $300 could be used for, what I'm saying, doing the same thing as well, taking care of kids and putting through Scott College and getting them some education, getting them extra help if they needed it, put extra food on the table. You might say, I need to get my hair done, I get my nails done. For what? Who's looking at you? You worry about people looking at you more than you worry about God looking at you? Come on. That's what matters who's looking at you. No, it don't matter who's looking at you. It matters if God looking at you. That's what matters. That's who matters. Is God looking at you? You worry about people. It's too much of that too. People that worry about what people think instead about worrying about what they should be doing. They worry about what everybody else thinks about them. That's a big problem. Okay, that's temperaments. Okay, it's moderation of needed things and abstinence from things which are not needed. That's a big one. Now you might say, "Hey, sees you in Vegas? I work hard every day. Not only do I work hard, I travel a lot. In my travel, I get paid for. I get paid to travel. Therefore, I'm here in Vegas because on business. Even though today I'm off because I take off on the Sabbath day. So I don't have any business today. I'm here with you guys talking about God, talking about things that He wants, enjoys, and things He doesn't enjoy and doesn't like for free. This hotel ain't free though. These clothes ain't free though. You might think this right here just came out yesterday, didn't you? I keep it looking good, don't it? This jacket right here is years old. You wouldn't even know it because I don't wear it. You know why I don't wear it? Because I got a lot of clothes. Got a lot of clothes. So you we would think that because you see what you see right now, and you would think because what I got right now that I'm buying new stuff. No, I'm just making it look good. I just I remix it. Same new. You just haven't seen it like that. You must see that once or twice. I don't wear the same clothes a lot of times twice. That's just because I bought a lot of clothes before. But regardless of that, don't be fooled by what you think you know. Ask. Okay, temperaments is important. Things you do not need or not needed. A lot of people think they need things they don't need. You know, some people say I just seen the little interview where what's her name, Simone, the comedian. I think she's a comedian. They asked her, did she want $1 trillion? She take $1 trillion. Right. She said, hold on, who write me? Join the live, y'all see me. Okay. If you're watching this live, y'all can join. Y'all ain't gotta be shy, okay? It's Saturday. It's Sabbath day, you know what I'm saying? We're keeping it holy. But you ain't gotta you ain't gotta be shy now. You know what I mean? Like, because I can't respond to everybody at the same time, especially if it's not on here. If it's on here, I can respond to you all day. I can tap you right in on here, but I can't do that if y'all not if you're not on live with me. So, like I was saying, temperaments, man, temperaments or temperance is important, man. You gotta have temperance. That's I feel like that's one of the most important ones because even me, you know, sometimes I pray, for the last couple times I prayed, man. I just talked to God. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want nothing. I told him, I said, hey, you've been blessed me enough. I don't need nothing. You didn't show me, you know what I'm saying? You didn't give me enough. I don't need for nothing. Okay. What's going on, Jay? You know, I told God, I said, I don't need for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy. I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm happy. At the end of the day, I got everything I need to have. I got everything I want. I got. I don't need nothing. I just am happy, and I just want to talk to you and thank you for everything you've been giving me. Even if I have nothing, I'll be happy. Even if I had $2 in my name, I'll be happy. Okay. Even if now you don't gotta join live now. I ain't say you gotta join live. I mean you watch. See, here's the thing. You can watch. You ain't gotta join live. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say that. You ain't gotta join it. I just you being here is enough. But if you want to join, I'm welcoming anybody to come and join. You know, but you don't have to join out. I appreciate if you do because it feels like sometimes I'm talking to myself. Like not everybody ain't watching, but if you watching, hey man, I appreciate you because that's what we're here for. We're here for God. We're here for me. Okay. All right. So, so far we ran down uh, the seven heavenly virtues that God loves. Okay, things that He wants people to do and be aware of, and the ways He wants you to do to keep yourself from being sinful. Okay, and those things are faith, hope, charity, fortitude, justice, prudence, and temperaments. Okay, we can go back. We can touch on that a little bit. Let's go into the other side of the dark side, though. See, that's the light side. That's what God wants you to focus on. But you got to know about the other side too, because see, a lot of people don't know about the other side. They focus on the light side, but they don't really focus on it at all. They focus on the dark side, and that's the seven deadly sins. That can kill your spirit, kill your heart, kill the inside of you, make yourself inside bitter. You know what I mean? Make this inside of you, um, make this inside of you right here, cause it to be rotten. You ever met somebody that's rotten? I mean, everybody knows somebody's. I'm talking about somebody that's mad at everything, mad at everybody. You know, it could be somebody you work with. It could be a teacher at school. It could be your friend. Like they're just always negative. They ain't got nothing good to say. There's always something negative going on. Now I ain't saying, you know, people like that. You can talk to them, but hey, man, sometimes you gotta get away from them people. And sometimes you gotta move around from them. You know, y'all should go out and party, have a good time, and he's talking about fighting somebody. You trying to go out and have a nice dinner, and they looking at the waitress or the person saying, "Why are they looking at me?" I done dealt with that. Not me specifically, like, but I've been around people that's like that. Little liquor getting in their system, and they like, you know what? They don't even like, you know, the fact that the person put their drink down too hard. You know what I'm saying? They look at the crowd across the club that's dancing by themselves, having a good time. They like, why are they dancing over there, man? What you dancing for? Why are you happy? Like, huh? Okay, but let's get into that. All right, so these are the seven deadly sins. Okay, these sins right here. Let's get into the deadly sins right. These ones right here are the ones that these are the ones that you don't. These are the ones you don't. Hold on a second. These are the ones. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Trying to put this together. These are the ones you don't want to be doing. Okay, these are the ones that's going to get you in trouble in life. Okay, let me set the whole screen right here. Hold on. bad, y'all. I was just trying to get this thing put up here. Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. Now I'm gonna blow this up on the whole screen. You know what I mean? There we go. These right here, okay, the seven deadly sins are as follows. Okay. Um are the seven deadly sins are a traditional classification of vices in Christian teachings, often contrasted with the seven virtues. So these kind of go on hand in hand with the virtues as well. So, like we talked about earlier, charity, goes with greed. You know, let's see, diligence, goes with sloth, or should I say, you know, yeah, yeah. So it's it goes hand in hand. Um, you know, envy, being envy and stuff like that goes, goes jealous, jealousy goes with being proud of somebody, being happy for someone, kindness, So everything has a good and a bad side to it, like a yin and a yang, right? Because nothing is just one way. You could be good one day and be bad the next. You could be happy with somebody and just another person. It's important to understand. Okay. So here are the ones that follows right here. Okay. All right. Um, seven deadly sins, no particular order, but we're going to read them how it is. Pride. Pride is a deadly sin. Excessive belief in one's own abilities or self-importance. Why is that a problem, y'all? Hmm? Why? It ain't about you. A lot of people think it's about them. Okay. They think it's about them. They don't think that God did it. They think they did it. They're like, oh, I went to school and I passed that test. You know? They ain't gonna thank God for it. I made that $1 million. It was all me. I'm the fastest one in my school. I'm the best basketball player. How did they get the abilities? How do you think you was able to jump that high, run that fast? You think you just got those abilities because you just born with it? God gave them abilities to you. It's just like He gave the abilities, you can lose the abilities too. What happens if you think you're the fastest person in the world and you boasting and being prideful and being disrespectful? God take your legs from you. Like, oh, okay, so oh, you wanna be that way? All right, you wanna be disrespectful to everybody? You wanna, be haughty and okay, well, what's gonna happen when you get injured? You got an injury. Oh, your knees out. Now you can't run no more. Now you can't run that fast no more. Now you can't jump that high no more. Oh, let me take that arm away from you real quick in an accident. Now you can't throw that ball no more with your right hand. You gonna give up? Or you gonna try to use it with your left hand? See, don't think for 1 second because God loves us, He gonna punish us. Everything ain't the devil. Sometimes He just takes His blessings off your life. Okay? If you do that right there, then that's fair game. That means the devil can do what he wants with you. Some of y'all be thinking that y'all got these blessings, and then When y'all lose the blessings, you're like, what happened? Wait a minute, I was just doing so great. I was doing so good because it was never about you. You forgot who made you. You forgot who made you. And that's the saddest thing. I've seen it happen to many people. That's what they say, it's a saying that goes, what must come up must come down. And, when you're on top and you're coming down from that top, that same people you pass to go up, you're going to see when you're coming down. And then you're rising and you're going down and you're wondering how. Okay? Yeah. So that's important. Um, yeah, Proverbs 16:18. We're gonna talk about pride for a second. So Proverbs 16:18. It says here, pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Okay? Let me say that again. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So when you get full of yourself, the devil, he likes to post you up, make you think it's all about you. Yeah, be prideful. Go ahead. It's all about you one. You did that. Just to see you get all prideful and thinking you bigger than the program, and then bam, take your loving family away from you. Cause see, the devil, he actually met God before. Like I understand this. He know God personally. He know who he is, and God knows him. You might never seen him before, because you wasn't up in heaven before yet. And if you are in heaven, then you would know. But if you ain't never been to heaven, you wouldn't know. You ever seen God face to face? You never met him. Most of y'all haven't ever had a conversation with him. So you don't know what he sound like. But now I put that factor in that right there. Okay? A pride come before destruction. So yeah, he'll give you stuff. He'll make you seem. He'll tell you, oh yeah, you did this. He'll let you boast and be all puffed up and happy, thinking it's all because of you, just to watch you get destroyed by the truth. That was never about you. Okay, what's the next one here? That's pride, y'all. Um, Greed, intense or selfish desire for wealth or possessions. Greed. A lot of people are greedy. But what's greed? An intense or selfish desire for wealth and possessions. That means you have this thing where you need to have it all. Look at Puffy, for example. He was really kind of greedy. He wanted to have everything. He even said it a couple times. He said one time, he said, you know, I want it all. I'm a savage. I get what I want. If I don't know how to get it, I'm gonna get it anyway. So he had a grateful nature to take everything from everybody. He wanted your girl. He took he took 50 Cent girl. But she had a greed and lustful ways about her too. But before he took his girl, you know, he wanted what everybody else got. If you got something, he wanted it. If you is making money doing music, he want to be your friend. He wants some of that money too. He want to be in the spotlight too. When Biggie was blowing up doing his thing, he would be in a video dancing. He didn't want to get big in the spotlight, to shine only. He wanted to be in a video dancing. You know what I mean? Diddy bopping. He wanted to be in the spotlight. He wanted to have everything, wealth and possessions that he can get. He didn't care about giving nobody else nothing. He wanted to have all of it. He wanted to hoard that stuff. It's a lot of people that think just like that. You know? Just like B. Simone. Okay? When she was on Wildin' Out, everybody was like, oh yeah, she funny. She was. Still is. They thought she was doing well because, she was seemed successful. But behind the scenes, she was broke. She was broke. Y'all thought she was rich. I knew she wasn't rich. But see, here's the thing. Even if she was rich, even if she was okay at that moment, pride comes before destruction. And the haughty spirit comes before the fall. So she lost it all. She says it. She talks about it. That's why when somebody offered her $1 trillion, she'd sell her soul for the $1 trillion. Because she want the $1 trillion. You know what I'm saying? And when somebody says to you, in this way, discernment is important. Would you rather take $1 trillion or 10 minutes with Jesus, and you say you would take the $1 trillion? That's a foolish statement to say you're gonna take the $1 trillion. Because this earth is only temporary. Your spirit is forever. You'd rather be in heaven for eternity or in hell. I don't know if you heard the story of Lazarus, okay? But what greed got him, he was a rich man, of great wealth. He wouldn't even give the homeless man outside his door crumbs of bread. And they both died around the same time. And one was in purgatory. And the other one went to Hades. Okay? And Abraham was a witness to it. You know? Lazarus, the poor man, didn't have nothing. He was in purgatory. He was in a part where it wasn't it was good. It was nothing going on. It was chilling. But right across the way, he could see the rich man. And the rich man, he was getting tormented. He was hot. It was hot over there. It was so hot. He asked Lazarus, could you just please forgive me? Can you just tap some water, put a little dip of water just on your fingertips and just touch my tongue? That's how hot it was over there. It was so hot, he just wanted somebody to touch a little bit of water and put it on his tongue. That's what happens when you love money more than you love God. I don't love money. I could lose it all tomorrow and I'll be okay. No job, no nothing can make me turn my back on God. No matter money you can offer me that will make me say, forget God. Nothing you can offer me. Nothing. Nothing at all. And that's the thing about it. Some people will sell their soul for some money or some wealth or to whatever. Or just being greedy, just to be the number one, to be the biggest, or whatever they're trying to be. They will sell their soul for money. So that greed is a bad one because there's a lot of greedy people out here. You know what I'm saying? Which is the reason why, like when I met back in the day, you know, I talked to a couple of sheriffs back in the day. You know, um, and you know, Some of them were greedy. They say, "Oh, I want to take care of my kids," right? That was the excuse. That was the excuse to do what they did, right? But in our reality, they wanted that money for themselves. Because if you really wanted their kid, they would have figured out a way, you know what I'm saying, besides getting on a strip pole, because there's other jobs, other businesses that you can do to make money. Other things you can do that can put put money in your pocket. You can go to work. There's plenty of jobs out here you can work at. You ain't got to be on a pole. Just like you ain't got to go on the street and hustle and sell drugs. You ain't got to do that. Oh, it's Proverbs 16, uh, verse 18. Yeah, Proverbs 16, verse 18. For pride. All right. So that's important to understand. Money and everything. Don't let it consume you. All right. So let's see. What's the next one here? We're gonna look at. All right. Let's see here. Lust. Oh, that's a good one. Perfect timing. Lust. Intense or uncontrolled desires, often of a sexual nature. Now, this one, I have my problems with myself. Still do. Because, God made women beautiful. He did. He made women beautiful. You know, he made women um to have, what a man desires, what a man wants, right? That's a fact. Now, some men might not, I can't speak for them. The ones that don't like women and don't find them beautiful, attractive. But I'm not one of them. But the ones that do, you understand what I'm saying. Okay? This is why the angels came down from heaven, right? Turn themselves into men and slept with them, right? And make giants because of they obviously find them attractive. And that was almost equivalent to sleep with a dog, it said in the Bible, like an animal. That's the difference between angels and human beings, mankind. It's totally opposite. Like, it ain't no type of, like, you know what I mean? But people, they came down from heaven to sleep with women on earth. So, I don't know. But you know what? People on earth right now are sleep with dogs and other animals. True story. So, I guess they must be attracted to the animals. Call that bestiality, right? Okay. But just saying. So, people are still doing it to this day. Okay. But lust, yeah, intense or uncontrolled desires, often of a sexual nature. And how is that important? Um, it's one thing to have respect for somebody's beauty or to say, okay, that person looks good. I've seen plenty of women out here that look nice. That's pretty. I've traveled a lot of places, and I've definitely seen a fair share of people that are attractive in this world. Okay, but it's different between seeing somebody that's attractive and lusting over them. There's a difference between knowing, hey, this person is beautiful, and saying, I want to sleep with them. You see what I'm saying? Or having dreams and fantasies of this person. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? So make no mistake. Um, at the end of the day, that's the difference. It's one thing to recognize something and understand that God made us to be beautiful and to be attracted to each other. But it's another thing to overly do it. It's another thing to make that more important than anything. People watching porn, doing all kinds of other stuff, whatever, all because of lusting for a specific person or celebrities, whatever it might be. Everybody has crushes and things like that, but there's a difference between having a crush and you know to actually doing things sinful in a sinful nature over that person. To be fond of a person that much, that bad, to where you're doing things like whatever it might be in a sexual nature over that person. And you know what? I can't say I ain't never did it because I have. Okay, if you think I ain't never had a black mag or what it's called, Black Men's Magazine or one of them things, or what's the other one called? Or you think I ain't never watched a tape before back in the day when I was a kid? Come on, of course I did. And it came out. Come on now, I definitely sinned. Okay, and I had a little. I definitely had a infatuation with Pinky at one time because Pinky, what I'm saying, but again, I was young, didn't know better. You know, I'm wiser now, of course, but I was at the time I was young and I didn't know what was right from wrong too. Okay, and I did a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to do, but that's what growth is. I got a chance to grow. I got a chance to see and understand the error of my ways. Not everybody gets a chance to do that. Hell, some of my friends ain't never get a chance to do that. Some people I know right now ain't never grew up or understand or have that mindset now. It's part of life though. Usually you grow. You're supposed to grow for the better. So yeah, lust is a big problem in a lot of people's communities, man, and a lot of things. They promote it. It ain't nothing but the devil. Every time you turn on TV, some sexual thing going on, trying to pervert people's minds. Um, but that's what they do. That's what his job is. His job is to try to convince you to be lustful and to worship sex and drugs and everything else that can get you in trouble. Because the more you get in trouble, the more you stay away from what God wants you to do, the worse your life probably gonna get. And that's the truth. All right. What's the next thing here? Envy. Okay. Jealousy towards another's trait, status, abilities, or rewards. This is a big one. Okay. This is huge. You know who was jealous in the Bible? Prime example of a hater. Okay. Saul. Saul was one of the biggest haters in the Bible when it came to David. He couldn't stand David. He acted like he knew he couldn't, but he's like, you know what? Every chance he got, he tried to get him up out of here. And that's because David was special. He had abilities that a lot of other men didn't have. He had the mental understanding. He had the prowess. He wasn't boastful. He wasn't prideful, but he understood who he was, and he did what he had to do, and he did it at the same time while being humble and everything else. And that's the good thing about what I'm saying, with David. And Saul did not like that at all. People would be mad because I think it was one time when people was like they was doing chanting because he just came back from like killing Goliath and like 10,000 Philistines, and they were like, Saul killed 1,000 Philistines with men, but David killed 10,000, and they was dancing and slapping tambourines and shouting for David because he won and he did something that nobody else could do. Ah, that made Saul's brains boil. He was not happy that he was the king and they was chanting for this young boy over here more than him. I've been David a couple times. I've been, you know, uh, I've been in that position where I seen how somebody that envies what you got going on, they don't understand it. They think it's you doing it. They don't understand that God gave you these abilities, these talents, these gifts. He gave you these rewards, you know? And a lot of times they don't understand that because they ain't getting rewards. And they think that, or they might be impatient because they're like, well, when is my turn going to happen? It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Just like how David became king, it came when it's supposed to happen. You know, did he want to be king? No, he didn't want to be king. He wanted to be David. But God made him king because he seen that Saul's heart wasn't right and he wasn't worthy of that position. You know, people wanted Saul, even though God said, all you need is me. They'd like the Saul to be the man or king because they want somebody on earth they can talk to, they can complain to and stuff. And then they got that, they thought it was going to be good. And then, well, that person wasn't even happy with himself. So I can be happy for David. You got to be happy for yourself first. If you're not happy internally, of course you're not going to be happy for somebody else. And that's where the greed and envy and the pride come in. And all those things, all these things we talking about work together. And because of it, it goes right before the destruction, right before the fall. Okay? All right, let's go back to um, That's a big one because to have extreme anger and hatred, you really got to have a real dislike for something or somebody. And is it really that necessary? I think that's self-explanatory. You know, you shouldn't hate nobody or nothing that much. And if you do, then you need to get yourself away from it. Simple as that. Yeah, that's we'll just leave it like that because that's not healthy at all. Period. Um, yeah, sloth, laziness, or failure to act and utilize one's talents. That's a big one. That's a big one right there. That was me one time. Yeah, I was sloth a little bit. It's not that I was sloth. It was more so a failure to act and utilize one's talent. You know, I started making music about 4 or 5 years ago. Not because I couldn't make music. I gave up. I gave up on the music. I don't want to do it no more. I felt like I'm getting too old for it. And I said, you know what? Nah. I'm gonna just let it go. Let the young people do it. You know? And I didn't do it. Whether I had talent or not, I didn't do it. But God told me different. He said, I want you to do this music. Yeah, I want you to do this music. Again. And glorify my name when you do it too. Hmm. I'm not gonna say no. I'm not. So no matter if I didn't want to do it no more or not, I'm not gonna run away from my problems like Jonah did and get swallowed by a whale. When God told him to do something, and he went to do the opposite. He told him to go and talk to people over there and tell them what he wanted to tell them, and then he tried to run away from the problems, hop on a boat, and go to another city. Nah, I'm gonna face it head on. See, that's why I read these stories because if you don't read these stories, you don't know what happened to people that did the things that you was trying to do because it already happened before. You ain't the first one that gave up on the talent. You ain't the first one that quit. You ain't the first one. You just one of many. But when God needs you to do something, or wants you to do something, you need to do it because there's a consequence if you don't. Because He believes in you probably more than you believe in yourself. When you try to stop and not do it no more, He like, nah, you got the talent. I gave you this talent. You're not about to squander it. You're not about to not do it no more. You're not about to not sing or rap or make beats no more. Nah, you're gonna do it. And you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it well too. And that's the thing about it. You can't be sloth, y'all. If you got talent, my nephew can draw. Okay? My niece can play basketball. They have talent. What it look like for them saying, I don't want to do it no more. That would be a waste of talent. And that person, that talent might change the world. So yeah, mm-mm. Now you need to do your talent. And we need to encourage people to do these talents, kids especially, to do things that they love and they're good at, even when they stop loving it. Because sometimes you need to give a little extra, you know, reason to do something. You know, buy them some notepads or a tablet to draw on, or crayons and markers and whatever else they need. Don't just let them quit. They might do something that might change the world, inspire others to do better or do good or whatever it might be. So yeah, don't be sloth. Okay. All right. Let's see here. We got also here. Um, yep, that's the last one. Sloth was the last one right there. So you got pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth, or laziness, or what we want to call it, or not using your talents. Okay, all those things are not just bad for you or sinful; they also deteriorate who you are, and that's important that you don't let these things not only ruin your life but control your life. You rise above all that and be more virtuous in a positive direction. You know, have faith, have hope, do charity. You know, have fortitude. Strength, justice. Be just. Be careful, be prudent. Not only money, but anything you got going on, and have temperance. Okay, those are things you got to focus on, and also watch out for the seven deadly sins that can hurt you and others around you, like pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and being sloth. Those are cancers in life that cause a lot of problems today. You know, those that get you in trouble. You got a lot of people that we know, celebrities in trouble, right? We see them every day. They get in trouble by thinking that this right here is okay to be and to do. Puffy's the latest one. For him was R. Kelly. Think he can get away with all this stuff. Um, and there's been many more probably. So this is why it's important to. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, I like this right here. Peter 1:2. This is about envy. First Peter. Go to First Peter, y'all. First Peter. All right. It says here, this is Peter talking right here. It says, therefore, this is First Peter chapter 2. Okay, first 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 verse. Well, actually, first verse to first 1 to 3 verses. So 1 to 3. So 1 to 3. It says, therefore, laying aside all malice, all deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and all evil speaking, as newborn babies, desire the pure milk of the word, that you may grow thereby. And indeed, you have tasted that the Lord is gracious. Okay? You gotta get rid of all that stuff in order to find God and be righteous. You gotta get rid of, you can't be righteous and be malice and deceitful and be a hypocrite and have envy and all the evil speaking and think you get closer to God. You know? That ain't the way. That ain't the way. That ain't the way. So, but again, these are things that you can definitely look up online, and you can see it for yourself, and see what it means to you. Don't take my word for it. I could give you scriptures and everything else, and show you all this stuff, but you got to read it for yourself too. The Bible says for. You know, everybody should read it themselves to understand the word, because that's the only way you're really going to understand it is if you really take time yourself and read it and understand it and put it in your memory bank. So when you do see something like this, you know exactly what it is. When your friends say they hate this person or they don't like this person, or you like, why? And I had friends do that too. Kind of say, "Oh, I don't like this person over here because of whatever, some small dumb reason." I'm like, "That's not like what you really mad at that person about again? Like, what did they do?" And they never really had a real explanation of why they didn't like that person. You mad at that person for no reason. If you really knew that person, you might be friends with them. But because that person might have, talked to your ex girlfriend, they don't even know who you are. They don't even know you exist, bro. Or because, your man's like her pictures, and you mad at her, and she don't even know you. She don't like your dude, but you mad at her though. You want to fight her. Come on now. You gotta grow up. Everybody gotta grow up, especially if you think like that. Envy is a serious thing, man. Greed is a serious thing. So is being prideful. You know, and I think that's the lesson today that I think everybody should take from this conversations is the things like that. Yeah. Take those things and and recognize what it is so we can do better. Well, that concludes the Bible study today. Um, I'm going to enjoy my rest of the time in Vegas. It's so far it's been good. Can't complain. Got some great rest. And also even on my work still, because I'm always at work. Um, I feel good. What I'm saying, to talk to you guys still and make this time to talk to y'all, because at the end of the day, this is never going to stop. Every Saturday, no matter where I'm at in the world, we're going to talk about this right here, because the Bible is big and it has a lot of information, a lot of knowledge in it, and we're gonna always come together to conversate about this on Saturdays. Now where I'm at in the world, as long as I got internet, okay, and a place to sit down and talk, I'm gonna do that. So that being said, it's good talking to y'all. I will see y'all next Saturday, okay, which is I think what was it, the 13th maybe, whatever day it is, 7 days from now. So until then, peace out, peace and love, and I hope y'all enjoy your Sabbath day like I am enjoying mine. Bye bye.